From Little Rock Southwest, Mr. Todd Ferguson.
There's a dash between the birth date and the death date. That's your life. It's just a dash. What are you going to put on your dash? What are you going to accomplish in life? Because that is the totality of the span between your birth date and your death date. That little dash represents the entirety of your life.
My name's Todd Ferguson. I currently teach semester classes in psychology and sociology, AP psychology, which is year-long, and AP human geography, which is also a year-long. This will be my 19th year of teaching, 29th year of public service, and I got into teaching because it was just the natural thing to do.
I teach AP African American Studies. I teach on-level African American History and AP US History.
My name is Bailey Sessions. I'm in the 11th grade, and I have Mr. Ferguson for psychology and sociology.
One of the things that you will note about Ferguson almost as soon as you meet him is how friendly of a guy he is. He really has the ability to put students at ease because he has to be one of the nicest and most friendliest and helpful staff on campus.
I come from a family of teachers. My dad was a dentist, but he also taught CPR to nurses and volunteer groups. My mother had a degree in education, in scientific education, but she wasn't a teacher. She was a guidance counselor, and she was able to stay home with us growing up. But all of her cousins, aunts, uncles, cousins, her parents were all teachers.
He always made sure we were on task and we were doing our stuff right. He made sure that we knew the material. He never taught us unuseful things. So everything he taught us we're gonna need in the real world, and that was his whole thing.
Ferguson taught next door to me at McClellan for, I guess it was 3 or 4 years that we were there together. And one of the things, of course, quite naturally because we teach and so we talk loud, so we could hear each other as we were teaching our classes. And one of the things that Ferguson and I love to do is jump in on each other's lessons. Ferguson has such a depth of knowledge about so many different things that he can, almost always show up and bring his presence and bring his perspective into a classroom that you cannot pay for. Like, that is something that is absolutely needed. We need to be able to collaborate with each other like that, and Ferguson can be counted on to do that. That is something that is probably one of the most valuable things that, besides his helpfulness, one of the most valuable things I appreciate about him, because
I love the story of history. With the class I teach now with psychology and sociology, what's the story behind it? Everything has a story. I was not a good student in school, and when I learned how to study and be a better student, I wanted to share that. My purpose is to see the very best in each one of my students. I want them to achieve.
I think he was chosen for Teacher of the Year because he's a very good teacher, and he always makes sure we know and understand exactly what we're learning, and even if we don't know 100%, he works with us to make sure we do. And Teacher of the Year goes beyond that, and so does he. So he's not just a teacher in the classroom, but a teacher of life too.
you hear the same thing from his students all the time. A, he's resourceful. B, he knows his material. He's going to help them. And he always remembers them. Mr. Ferguson is always one to be able to reach back and connect with the students. And a lot of them he met when he was teaching at the middle school level. So when some of his students get a chance to see him again at the high school level, it's always like, ah, Mr. Ferguson, I remember when. So it's always a good thing for them to see him again.
When I hear from kids later in life and they come up and say, I think about your class all the time, that's a bonus check you can't cash.
He wasn't just a teacher for me, he was more of a mentor and a friend and a guide.
And students learn very quickly early on that they can trust him. So he is one of the staple pieces here at Southwest High School.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. I had a great time in your class this year, and I look forward to having you as a teacher next year for both AP Psychology and AP Human Geography, and I know I can learn a lot from you.
Congratulations, Mr. Ferguson, on a job well done, most definitely.
First time I walked into my classroom, I felt like this is where I should have been the entire time of my life.